My name is Devon Holmes. I live here in the West Roseville area. We've been a resident here in West Roseville for 25 years now. Behind me, you've got our latest creation of a pool that we had built by Century Pools. It's actually the 5th pool that we've had as homeowners. I grew up with a pool. I've always enjoyed swimming, and when we did a pool years ago, it just kind of led to what we have now. We took what we learned with each pool and used that to design and work on the next one. This is actually our 2nd pool that we've had with Century Pools, and I love the design that they came up with the first time. This was about 10 years ago. And when we moved into this brand new development that we're in right now, I decided to go back to Century Pools and to have them build that same design with a few little tweaks to it. And so I sat down with their designer and we came up with a concept of how would we make that pool fit in the backyard. This backyard, it's a little bit different. It's not as deep, it's not as wide, but we made a 38 feet long by 20 feet wide, 3 feet deep to 9 feet deep pool fit in the backyard. And it's gorgeous, and we really love it. We've already enjoyed it for a number of weeks, and it's been a lot of fun.
My name is Zach Schwinger with Century Pools. I'm kind of the head designer here, and yeah, we had an awesome time building Devon's pool. And Devon was one that actually reached out to me months before the pool had even broke ground or prepped or anything like that. So he had reached out to me a while before. He's a very thorough man. He's very dedicated and knows what he wants. And so that was really nice, actually. He came to me and said that he was planning on building a home out in Roseville, and he wanted to put a pool in. He said that he had built a pool with us back in 2014, and he loved that design. And so we were going back and forth on kind of what the plan was. The fence wasn't even put up at the time. We were still kind of waiting for the home to be built before we could even do much with it. So as the home was being built and as we were getting closer to actually kind of being able to start designs, we were going over more about it. And I was able to get the plot map for the project and put it into my 3D rendering software. And from there, I was actually able to then put in his house, put in his fence line, put in the pool, and put in some other amenities in the backyard.
I grew up with pools. I still remember the pool that my parents put in when I was a young teenager. I still remember the in-ground pool that my dad and I built as an older teenager. And then when I got married and we had kids, we moved into our first house. I wanted a pool. And so I actually found an engineer who would design the pool, and then he would hand everything off to you. And I actually subbed out and built the pool all on my own. So I'm familiar with the process, how it's supposed to work, and all the nuances. And so that helped as I would work with builders over the years. The main thing that I was looking for with Century Pools 10 years ago with the first pool that we did was just their creativity. It wasn't, here's a pool, it's a cookie cutter. I wanted to have it designed around what I was looking for. I would come up with ideas and they would come up with ideas, and between the two of us, it came up with a really perfect design. When we bought this house in this development, I knew right away I wanted a pool. And so I sat down with Century Pool to come up with that design process. We actually worked on it for about 4 or 5 months. So it wasn't an overnight process, but it was a very specific process. I knew what I wanted. I gave the builder or the designer my requirements of what I was looking for with fountains, with the deep end, with the equipment, with the decking, with everything. So it made it easier for him to just take it and run with it. What also made it easier is that once we had a final design, they were able to go in, get the permits. They didn't have to wait for me to do anything else because we'd agreed upon that design. And so because they're very familiar with at least City of Roseville, they know that process and they're able to get the permit and turn it around pretty quickly. That we were able to start construction on this pool literally 3 weeks after we had moved in. And so that really worked out in our favor, that We already had the design down, everything was set, made it easier for them to go through that permit process and for us to start up. So from start to finish, we had a pool done in a little over 5 weeks.
The struggle that we had with it was the overall shape of the backyard. That was something that we were trying to figure out, like what a good pool shape would be for the shape of the backyard. So we went through maybe 4 or 5 different renditions of what the pool could look like in the backyard, with different water features and different raised areas. And we were, in all honesty, we were kind of scratching our heads. We wanted something to look good for him. We wanted it to fit like what they were wanting. And so he had showed me pictures of the original pool that we built for him back in 2014. And so we took that and made some slight changes to it, but kept it for his current design now. So it's almost maybe a continuation of what his previous pool was, but with more modern equipment, which is really, really nice.
I only had one person to go to, and that was my pool builder. I didn't have to worry about coordinating with each of the subcontractors. Century took care of that. If I had any concerns with anybody, I went straight to my pool builder, to my pool designer, and he took care of it. So that made it easy for me that I didn't have to worry about, well, who's going to do this and who do I have to worry about.
Devon and I worked pretty closely throughout the entire thing. So like I said, we were talking months before we had the home had been built, and so we were talking pretty frequently. The relationship between the Holmes and I were rock solid. So if there were any issues throughout the build, I was quick to go and address them and get them all taken care of. And now they have a beautiful pool, and it's and I know that they're enjoying it.
From the design process to filling up the pool, I enjoyed working with Century, family owned. They've been around for years. They're not new to the pool business. Many of the subcontractors that they're using, they're not new to the business either. The day that they did the gunite in the pool, they asked me, "You used Ivan for the sub to dig the pool, didn't you?" And I said, "Well, it's whoever Century's using." And he's all, "I can tell this is Ivan's work." He's all, "You know why?" He's all, "Because there's the right amount of space between the dirt, between the rebar, and where the gunite's going to go." He's all, "So Ivan does the best job ever." And so again, to me, it's just a testament to Century and who they use to do each process of that pool. They're not using just anybody. They're using only the best. And so from digging it to doing the rebar, to gunite, tile, and even the decking, from start to finish, each piece is meticulous in how they do it. They're truly craftsmen in their work and what they do and how they do it. So very satisfied customer, obviously, because this is the second time I've used Century. Would I use them again? Yes. I tell a lot of people about Century because I believe they're a great pool company, and you're going to get the value for your money. Many times I've gone to other pool builders and asked them, what kind of a pool can you give me for this? And they say, "Oh, it's going to cost you a lot more. We're the Cadillac of pools." Well, Century isn't worried about being the best or the worst. They're worried about making a good product for you, and I feel that they do that.